Hey, you're watching Half Asian Tarot Queen. I'm Elisa. Haven't been doing that many readings lately because, you know, there's a lot that's been going on. Yeah, just right when I said that, this is what fell out. The Five of Swords and the Sun. I feel like that kind of sums it up. Like these are like kind of opposite ends of the spectrum, but yeah, I've been going through a profound transformation, and this reading actually speaks to a profound transformation, so I'm just going to get into it. So I'm starting out with the Ethereal Visions deck. If you're new to the channel, thanks, hi. I link related videos within. All the readings are just kind of, they're not date or zodiac specific, they're just timeless. And yeah, the related videos get linked up here. There's playlists down below. They're all just stories. So at the bottom of the deck, we got the Ten of Wands. So putting down a burden that you've been carrying for a really long time, it's time to put it down. It's over. So this is good, you know. And then we go right into the Ace of Cups. Oh my gosh, this reading is really good. Six of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles, the Seven of Cups, and the Nine of Pentacles. So this is really good because it's just like, this speaks to someone who's been carrying a profound burden, and it's just like, oh my gosh. And right under that we have Justice, and we have the Six of Wands. So oh my gosh, this is like, it's almost like it's like an unjust burden. And so like finally, like karma and victory is happening, and so that this person can put this burden down. And like now, the love, it's like the love is coming to them. Like this burden has been blocking them from receiving what's justly due to this person. And so by putting it down, like it kind of opens the doorway that they can finally receive the love, so they can move on from a bad situation to a better situation. And this new glorious opportunity is coming their way, which is going to create a lot of confusion. Like it's almost like there's so many choices, and this is really kicking up dust. And you know, things have been kind of stuck in this certain way for a while, but this is kind of like opening everything up. So it's a little confusing for a minute, but when the dust settles, there's gonna be this independent person who's kind of like large and in charge. You know, this always reminds me of the Frank Sinatra song, like, I did it my way. They're abundant, they're independent, they don't really need anybody else. They've kind of got their own thing going on, and they're just good, you know. I don't think I'm gonna get this video up by the end of Easter, but I'm filming this on Easter, and this is just like kind of, I mean, for me, I'll just tell you a personal anecdote. But 2 years ago, so like I had this plant-based cheese company, and like I had attracted investment like from all over the world for me to expand my business. And this investor had flown me to Europe on this business trip to look at this factory where they make plant-based cheeses. And I couldn't believe any of this was happening. And I was like, it was Easter, and I was staying in Westminster, which is like where Westminster Abbey is. So I like went to Westminster Abbey for Easter Mass, and like I walked around all around London and the whole day, and I was just like crying the whole time because I couldn't believe any of it was happening. I was just like walking around by myself crying. So anyways, I had this whole big dream, you know, and it was kind of like Cinderella, which is interesting because like I actually have a thread called Cinderella because there's been all these Cinderella messages coming through lately. But, you know, not long after that, like my father passed away and all this drama happened, and I can't really say that much about it, but what I can say is that I got sucked into like an insanely unjust situation that I've been carrying around, and you know, it's been like profoundly abusive, and it's been like for a year and a half, and suddenly there's this shift that's coming through in the cards. So hey, I'm back. Okay, so if you watch this channel, you know that I take care of someone with dementia, so oftentimes readings get interrupted. But anyway, so I've got like perspectives from like 4 different decks, and it's really interesting because, you know, once I've laid them all out, it's just sort of like the oracle decks seem to have like a kind of more spiritual message, and then the 2 tarot decks that I have are sort of a more grounded message. So I'm just going to do the other tarot deck, because I think this kind of speaks to the reality on the ground of the situation, and then we're going to go to the more spiritual messages, because it's a really profound message that's coming through. Okay, so next I'm going to go to the Urban Tarot, which this is the deck using New York City as a muse, and so it's like a more modern perspective on the traditional tarot, but I love this deck. And at the bottom of the deck we have strife. So this looks like, I mean, there's some arguing, and you know, we're moving on from this, and when there's an injustice that's needing to be righted, like, it makes sense that along with that is going to be some arguing, because not everyone is maybe going to be on the same page with the changes. Oh, it's interesting because I picked this one up, and then underneath this we had justice again. So that's the second time. It's like under the 10 of Wands we have justice, and under the strife we have justice. So it's just sort of like there's tension around this change, but like, and then we have the, oh my gosh, we've got the Wheel of Fortune, and we've got the Public Defender. So really this, it's interesting too, because right now we have the George Floyd trial going on. I have a whole thread called Minneapolis Uprising because I'm from Minneapolis. So that incident, the George Floyd incident, happened only a couple blocks from where my cheese shop that I had for 10 years was. And so, you know, obviously there's a lot of shakedown that's going on with that situation. So it's interesting that this is coming up, because it's like these injustices are being righted, and there's like resistance to it, but it's just like there's such this groundswell of support for change to happen that it's just like, you know, it's like, look at this person is like struggling, you know, like, but like, yeah, and this person is like not struggling, they're just like determined, they're kind of like at peace, and they're like, they're just holding firm, you know. So that might be a message about the tension that's arising. But the other cards we have are that we have the Ace of Swords, we have the Moon, we have the Chariot, Power, and the Two of Cups. I have a call coming in, so I'm going to come right back here. Okay, sorry, there's a lot of interruptions around here, but basically, the truth about something is coming out, because there's something that's hidden underneath, and there's a lot of emotion that's connected to the situation, but whatever that is, it's coming to light. Like the darkness is being brought to the light, and this is empowering someone and allowing them to take control of whatever this situation is that's been this unjust situation that's been holding them back. And so this is bringing someone into power. And then we have love. So it's like almost like they've been blocked from manifesting their abundance and their love by whatever this unjust situation is. You know, like I said, underneath this strife and this burden is some sort of situation that needs to be righted. And it's been blocking someone from manifesting their love and abundance for a really long time. So when I go to the Mystical Shaman Oracle, at the bottom we have the Tree of Life. This is like a card of just coming into alignment and a card of balance, you know, like there's deep roots that go deep into the ground, that's grounded, and it's sort of in touch with reality, and yet these branches reach high into the sky, you know, into the upper heavenly realms, you know. So it's like we're grounded with reality, and yet we're still dreaming, you know. We still have that capacity, you know. It's like if you have an imbalance in one way or the other, you're like so grounded in reality, but you've stopped dreaming. Like life just becomes this drudgery. But then yet, if it's all dreams and it's not connected to reality, you have no roots. There's no stability. So, sorry, it's pretty high drama around here. But so anyways, the Tree of Life. So we're kind of achieving this balance, an alignment between, you know, dreams and reality. And this is when our like chakras in balance, and this is like a really auspicious omen for great things about to happen. And it's interesting because right underneath that we have the Andean cross, which is all about like a portal of walking from one stage of life to the next. So when I look at the cards that I pulled, I got the Rattle, the Serpent, the Arrow, Fire, and Witness. So this is like a profound story of transformation that's coming through. I mean, it's just like the stars are lined up, you know. It's like, I keep, you know, making these references to the Cinderella story, but the thing that like this is making me think of is like when you wish upon a star, like, because that's like how much things are lining up in this reading. But the Rattle speaks of like summoning the power of God, of creation, of the universe to co-create. And it's really important when you summon this power that you are in alignment. So it's really interesting that we have this as the underlying energy, because this is like very powerful, you know, because it's like this can work against you if, like, for example, you have a sinister motive, you know, and you summon the power of the universe, like that can really come back at you in a bad way, you know. But if you are in alignment with the higher good, this is very powerful to have this blessing. So wow, you know. And then we have the Serpent. So this speaks to like an awakening. This is like a Kundalini awakening. It's like when all of your chakras are in alignment again. Right after we get this card, we have this unencumbered flow of energy, you know, up and down like our energy system. And so this allows for like this great awakening, you know. And again, it's like we're grounded and yet we're still dreaming. We're dreaming the world into being and, you know, co-creating. I mean, this is just like, I can't even believe how good this reading is. So then we have the Arrow. So the Arrow also, it speaks to the empowerment that comes from this great alignment. So it's like when you release your arrow into the universe, if you are in alignment with the highest good, your arrow is going to hit the mark. So whatever it is that is trying to be manifested, like, it's happening. Like, you've got the power of the universe behind you, you're in alignment, your arrow is going to hit the mark, and then we have fire. So this is profound transformation. This is a phoenix rising above the ashes. And it's interesting, there's a whole thread on this channel called Phoenix, and it's all about this King of Pentacles, this downtrodden king who's gone through all this unjust situation that he needs to right in order to become empowered, and he becomes the emperor. And then this is the foundation for this another thread called Dynasty. Yeah, this is the story of the phoenix and like transformation, just like escaping some sort of unjust situation, or, you know, awakening to your power so that you can shed whatever encumbrance has been holding you back and step into your true magnificence, you know. And then we have the Witness. So this speaks to the situation of someone who is in alignment, who is empowered. And when you have come into that power, like, it's no longer necessary for you to strive and claw to get your way, because you are the way, you know. So it's just like, you don't need to do anything. You just need to simply, you're in alignment with the universe. So like, you just need to simply let things unfold as they will, you know, because your arrow is going to hit the mark. Your intentions are clear. They're in alignment with the highest good. And so you just like simply need to watch the magic unfold. So, oh my gosh, this is like so great. I mean, it's just like, it seems like this totally karmic situation where, like, you know, someone has been completely oppressed by some sort of unjust situation, but they've learned the lesson that they needed to learn. You know, they were held back for a reason, and it was to bring into their awareness whatever this lesson was. But now they've learned the lesson, and it's like they're shedding their skin and they're like breaking free. And this is just like so amazingly beautiful, you know. So when I go to the Animal Spirit Oracle at the bottom, so we have Vulture. So this is like, so the Vulture comes into play. It's kind of like the Tower, you know. It's just like Vulture cleans up what's dead and like no longer serving, and allows like a clean slate, a fresh start, a new beginning, you know. Because that gets recycled into this new life, this new birth. And what comes through, so the cards, I love this. So we have the zebra, we have the unicorn, which this is a spiritual card, like this is, and it's like in the middle, and we have the hyena. So this is like so amazing. The zebra is like this exotic worldly animal, and it's interesting because it's right next to the unicorn, and we have the chakras in alignment right at the zebra's third eye. And then, you know, the unicorn, the horn comes out from the third eye. So it's like really interesting because it's almost like these are analogous creatures, but this is kind of in the earthly realm and this one's in the spiritual realm, you know. But like, there's like a synergy here. So this is an exotic worldly animal, a visionary, you know, who everyone likes to be around. The zebra, you know, this is like good times, and this is like kind of like on the world stage, you know. So like, and then we have the unicorn, which this speaks to like this heavenly creature, you know, where it's just like tapped into divine energy. So it's just like, it's almost like we're like tapped in, you know. And it's like Easter today, so, you know, I'm gonna make this analogy, you know, where it's just like Jesus was like living on earth as a human being, but tapped into this other realm, you know, this divine realm. And so like that's kind of like how I'm seeing this, is sort of like this Easterly message. And then we have the hyena, and the hyena is also a creature which is super likable, and everyone likes the hyena. The hyena is like funny and like hilarious, you know. And this card reminds me of, they talk about like in the world of comedy, like the best comics are people, I mean, you find out like underneath the surface that a lot of them have like trauma in their history, and that's kind of like why they're so funny, you know, because they have this certain sarcasm and wit that's sort of like under the radar, you know, because they've had to like live through oppression, you know, and this is like an outlet for them, you know. So it's like somebody who's like rose through the ranks, you know, but is divinely tapped in and is like this worldly person, you know, like that's who's coming through in this tale of empowerment. So really interesting. I'm going to pick one more card from the Oracle of 7 Energies, which I have to grab, but I'm really loving this message. So yeah, Oracle of 7 Energies for the final message on this really amazing reading. This is like so beautiful and like so timely for like an Easter message. Wow, like this is really good. This is really good. There's been like a lot that everyone's gone through with coronavirus and like having to adapt and change, and like it's like almost like we're finally breaking free. Okay, so the card that came out is a powerful move, and it's interesting because it's like this chess piece, and there's a reading from not that long ago, and it's called Checkmate, Game Over. So I feel like that message is going to be relevant to this reading. Okay, so I'm going to read the message. A powerful move. Key concepts: action, movement with purpose, effort, putting into motion your intention, making choices from an empowered and thoughtful place, positive change. Like, does this not go with this reading or what? Okay. The time for rest is over. Change is in the air. This is a powerful time when deliberate action is needed to move your intentions out of the realm of thought and into the material, from idleness into action. How do you approach your relationship to the invisible world as it influences the visible? Do you see the relationship? Do you recognize yourself as a unique, whole, and worthy being who has a special place in the world, whose offerings are valuable, and whose life has meaning? You are a mighty co-creator. To step into that power and see your intentions manifest into the world. Real positive change is possible when you make choices from an authentic sense of self and take a conscious step towards your dreams. To take steps toward your intended experience, state first the way you think. Let curiosity be the focus now, and display a willingness to discover new things instead of confirming your past expectations. Be open. Be clear about your motives and desires, and set your intention. Then step into the magic just waiting for you to claim it. Traveling, moving, flowing, flying, whatever describes the changes in your life, know that these are called for now. Act with thoughtfulness and awareness, and remember to be true to yourself. What is called for now is doing the thing that needs to be done. All will be better than well. What an exciting time indeed. This is so beautiful. Yeah, so this globe-trotting, world-class animal that's tapped into the divine and is hilarious is about to be victorious over this unjust situation and witness the unfolding and the magic that the universe has to offer. This is beautiful. So leave you with that message, and we'll be back soon with more messages.